Hello, everyone. Christy, Matt, Alonso, we're back with more Breakfast All Day excitement. If you were a member of our Patreon page, which why aren't you? We do recaps every week of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And one of that series stars Sebastian Stan is the lead in a new movie we're talking about this week. That would be Monday, which is opening in some theaters and on virtual cinema, thanks to IFC. Matt's going to tell us about it.
Yeah, Sebastian Stan stars in this movie. We first meet him at a party. He's DJing. There's a woman at a bar played by Denise Gough, Irish actress, but she's American. Their mutual friend, Argyris, who carries the same first name as the director, Argyris Papadimitropoulos. Did I say that right?
Sounds like it.
I think.
Okay. That's the only time I'm going to say it. Says, hey, you're American. You guys should be friends. They end up making out and waking up the next morning at naked on the beach. Cops take him in. And so starts a whirlwind romance that we see over the course of a few months. Start periodically on Fridays. We never quite get to a Monday.
Until we do.
And then it's this, it's a look at a relationship between two people who have this passionate, burning need to be with each other and have lots and lots and lots of sex. And is there anything else to this relationship? We will see. I liked this movie, not just because of all the sex. I thought it was this really interesting look at two people who are, you can see, like, it's beyond sparks, like there's just a raging bonfire there, and they absolutely should not be together at all.
Yeah,
yeah,
they have this palpable physical attraction, but they just should not be together for so many reasons, mainly in that he is like this man-child who is afraid of success of any kind, and just sort of putting forth the effort required, and she's she's ambitious and hardworking, and there's all these reasons why they don't belong together. But I admire the fact that this is a movie. You look back at films of the 60s and 70s when the shackles were thrown off, and we got rid of the Hays Code, and the rating system came in, where filmmakers, particularly in Europe, but even in the United States, were interested in portraying sexuality as part of a relationship and using scenes of sexuality as a way to comment upon a relationship and to move the plot forward and to reveal elements of characterization. And we're so afraid of that now, and it's so much harder to get an R rating for a film with a lot of sex than with a lot of violence, And this movie really kind of caught me by surprise, because it is very sexual, which is unusual. But also, as the movie progresses, at first I just thought, oh, this is the sort of it's all in Greece, and it's all sunny and beaches and the water, and you just think it's just this kind of romp. But the more you get to know these people, and the more you realize how very wrong they are for each other, this movie, I think, then reveals itself to be about something else entirely. And by the end of it, the sex scenes almost feel like this sort of desperate chasing the dragon of this is the one thing we have. This is the one thing that works, because everything else doesn't.
Mm-hmm. See, I did not care about whether they could make it through all these various weekends, beyond the ultimate Monday. They are so little chemistry. I never bought it. And I had a hard time. Maybe I'm just too pragmatic. I don't know. I had a hard time ever believing that this woman would give up her career for this guy with a Peter Pan complex. Even though he's beautiful, he looks like Sebastian Stan. And
he looks just like Sebastian Stan.
He's a lot of fun. He's really fun, and he's spontaneous. But she owns actual furniture, and what he thinks of the use of furniture. That right there, if I wasn't already taken out of it, what happens with her furniture would have taken me out of it. And I just think they are so fundamentally wrong for each other, as you guys both said, that I thought, okay, 2 hours later, we're going to go through this repetitive slog of the same cycle over and over again, and them having a really great time together, and then something horrible goes wrong, and they still stay together. And I I didn't buy it. I found it kind of, pretty in its escapism early on. That first night, that first scene where they meet is like this one long tracking shot through the dance floor, and it's quite immersive, and you feel the energy of, the summer heat and the bodies pumping and thumping, and it's a lot of fun. But as the relationship wanes, so does the movie, and it makes it harder and harder to stay engaged and invested.
Well, a thing that Matt left out of the synopsis that I think is key here is that when we meet the Denise Gough character, she is in the process of like realizing that she's been ghosted by her boyfriend. So when she starts making out with Sebastian Stan, it's because she's like drunk and angry and frustrated and like is plunging into something in a way that she normally wouldn't have. And I think along the way, we sort of see her realizing, this is normally a line I would not cross, but because she is into him and also rebounding and just dealing with this major relationship, and we meet the guy later who's a piece of work, that has messed her up in so many ways. I think that I bought it in that she understands on some level this is a bad idea, but on another level is like, but I'm coming off of this thing that seemed like it was a good idea and it wasn't, and I'm into this guy, and the fact that it's played by Sebastian Stan, I think makes you kind of understand why she might be willing to throw out certain concepts she has about like, yeah, I know this guy is totally the wrong one. I don't know. It's a tricky balance, but the film sold it for me.
Yeah. I was watching this movie and I realized not very far into it that, she's an alcoholic. And
you think so?
And then there's a line where Christos, the former boyfriend, says to her at that party that they're at that wedding, like, you sure you should be drinking? And I think that means that she was maybe previously sober, but as their relationship goes, like she is drinking a lot in this, and he's always right, like he's throwing beers back, like he's kind of
just a good time party vibes.
Yeah, and I think it's too simplistic to say that he's just like the man child. Like he's more like he's broken in a way that he thinks he doesn't deserve success, or he self-sabotages all the time, and you see that come up.
Right.
But that end scene, like that whole end sequence when they're at that Christmas party or the Christmas night, and where that whole goes over that weekend, is I think you have to go through the rest of the movie to really get the desperation that she's feeling in that. And I think that's brought on both by the alcohol and then the other stuff that goes down. But yeah, I think that this is it's more about her character, and once she starts drinking again, caution goes to the wind. And as much as she tries to kind of rein it back in, she knows like, well, fuck it, I can get drunk and fuck this guy, and then I don't really have to care about anything. Because I think I get the sense that they both are, but she really is as much of a sex addict as she is an alcoholic. And it became this fascinating look at these characters. It almost made me think like, I wonder if this is what the early relationship was like in Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf.
I mean, there's certainly a point, I think, in which she is ready to get out and then suddenly feels trapped by outer circumstances that I don't want to spoil, but where it's sort of like, I can't not be here now, or else that's going to be a whole other thing. And so, you do see her making some choices along the way where it's clear that she's not fully committed, but at the same time, I think she does feel kind of stuck in it for various reasons. And I would maybe look at it again now. I didn't pick up on the whole issue of the drinking, but that might have been, that could certainly be a part of the character. I do think it is more about her than it is about him, although we learn things about him that make us understand why he's gotten to the place where he is.
Couple things. I did not think of her as an alcoholic either, but it would be super hard to be sober in Athens. It's a hard place to be sober, I'll tell you what.
So much ouzo.
So much ouzo, never again. But and I think it's more about him than it is about her. I think it's his story, and he is like this exciting supernova, and he's fun, and he's the one who drives the plot, and he's the one who drives all of their craziest nights, and she's sort of along for the ride, and she casts aside what her ordinary instincts would be to be with this person, and she becomes a passenger in his life. I think it's more about him than it is about her.
Fascinating.
And I think our conversation right here is more interesting than the movie itself.
See, I agree that she becomes a passenger, but I think it's her story of making that decision to do that. Like,
yeah, I think she's got a lot more. She's got a lot of control here, and
right. But it's like, oh, okay, well, then I'm going to do something different. I'm going to go forward with this guy that I would otherwise never do, and make this work. And the compromises and the stuff she has to dig into, and the places she has to go to make it work, and then the self-medicating that she's got to do to make herself continue to be willing. Like it. I think it really pays off in the ending.
Yeah.
There are a couple of good scenes here. I like the scene where they throw the party to introduce their friends to each other. It's horrible. Like all their friends are awful. Like all their friends are obnoxious, but in different ways. Like hers are these posh jerks and his are just like brash bores. And then there's a scene with his ex-girlfriend with like very necessary honesty. And there's like a jolt of tension to that scene that is totally missing elsewhere. And is one of it's maybe the best scene in the whole movie. I think and I like Sebastian Stan being a romantic lead is different for him, and she's got this great visceral physicality about her. She's a longtime Irish theater actress. They're so thinly drawn, and I had no sense of any real substantive chemistry between them. Maybe that's the point, that there is no real chemistry. It's just sex. It's 2 hours long. I didn't care for them to make it work.
Yeah, I mean, at first I just kind of thought that the message of this film was like, don't fuck your vacation fling. But then it's like, no, I think we do really get to know a lot about both of them, and we sort of understand like why they shouldn't be together, but maybe also why they are together within that. I don't know. I got a lot out of it, but I don't know. I like it.
You should fuck your vacation fling. Just don't move
in with them. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
Go
fuck
back
them,
to the United States.
Right. Absolutely, nowhere to draw the line. Yeah, for sure.
I'm saying 4.
I said 7.7. I really quite like this.
I said what, 8?
You said 8.
8. Yeah.
Okay, 6.6 is our number. Monday is out there lurking in the distance.
Yeah, Matt and I liked it. I don't know what to tell you. Thanks for watching. Like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us at BeFastAllDay on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And again, patreon.com/BeFastAllDay if you want to hear our thoughts about each and every episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier as they drop for you Sebastian Stan stands out there. There's that and a whole lot more. So check it out. A lot of fun for our subscribers. We hope you'll become one. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.